And welcome to the show. I am Bill Knapik, sitting in for Kevin Price. We're so glad you joined us. We want to tell you that portions of this show are sponsored by Magna Limited, and we have a great show today. As always, interesting people. You're going to enjoy the show. And we remind you to go to usdailyreview.com or thepriceofbusiness.com for the complete archives and even more. You may know me, Bill Knapik. I host two other radio shows. One is called Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title, which can be heard Saturdays at 1 o'clock on 100.7 FM, our sister station. In addition, 10:30 Saturday morning. Tune in for Successful Living with Bill Knapik. I always have great guests. And now let's get this show rolling, The Price of Business. We're so glad we have Mr. Gino Colangelo. He is with Colangelo PR. Gino, thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
Top of the morning, huh?
Yeah, it's a beautiful day in New York.
Well, and that's so great. I was looking on your website, and I see that you have a location in New York and also San Francisco.
Yep, headquarters here in New York. We just opened in San Francisco about 2 months ago, and very excited to be bi-coastal.
Certainly two of my favorite cities. Well, Gino, would you tell the listeners about your company and what you do?
We are a integrated communications agency. Very simply, that means we do press relations, we deal with trade, we do events, and we do social media, and we're very, very focused on fine wine and fine spirits.
And I will tell everyone, when I looked at your website, I'm looking at it right now, you have some of my favorite things on there: press relations, social medias, and fine wine. It looks like you're having fun with your profession.
Yeah, I would say we're very, very lucky. We're 40 people between the two offices, which makes us one of the larger, if not largest, fine wine agencies in the U.S. We deal mostly with imported product, but we do have some wonderful California wines also. And as I said, we're really lucky. You know, we're drinking and tasting good wines and great spirits throughout the week, and we're going to events. Yesterday, we just had a wonderful event on the Intrepid aircraft carrier here in New York to introduce a wine called Purple Heart. A portion of every bottle sold goes to the Purple Heart Foundation, so it's nice when you can get support-worthy causes with your work. We also had a tasting of 6 old vintages of Ornellaia, the best wine of Italy, at Del Posto, a great restaurant by Joe Bastianich and Mario Batali. So that's a typical day in the life of Colangelo Partners.
That sounds like fun. I'm going to have to join you sometime.
We are more than welcome.
Well, and before I want to talk a little bit about wine, but also before we get into what makes, say, a wine good and what people should know, the average person, let's say, tell us a little bit more about your company and the people that you serve. Who are the people that reach out to you and that are your clients and customers?
So we work for, our business breaks down 2 ways. We work for typically family-owned, entrepreneur-driven companies. And then we work for institutional marketers. That means like we work for the Trade Commission of Spain, marketing wines from Spain. We work for Wines of South Africa. So that's basically how our business breaks down. From not the huge companies like Diageo, Pernod Ricard, so much as the family-owned wineries and entrepreneurs who are bringing in fine spirits, and then the institutional marketers who market collectively. And just as a note, it might sound strange, but I am not the one to tell you about fine wine because I am not a technically trained wine expert. What I am is a entrepreneur myself and a business owner in the business of promoting fine wine and spirits.
And I would think, though, you know the difference between a good glass of wine or a bad glass, right?
I can tell that much, but I do have many wine experts, trained wine professionals on staff. And I actually think that one of the reasons we do well is I'm in the business of promoting my clients' wines. I'm not in it for the lifestyle of, you know, I do travel to Italy or Spain or France, and I drink great wines with my clients, and I love that experience, and I love what my clients stand for. But my reason for having this company is to be in business and to serve clients well, not to go to the party and drink the fine wine.
Indeed. Now, also, how did Colangelo PR come into existence? What was your inspiration to get into this PR business?
Well, I was working for 10 years in a very large global agency doing big global brands like Canon and Japan Airlines. It was a Japanese company here in New York. And I brought in a couple of my own clients into the agency, more sort of wine-focused just by chance. I got some introductions. And I really loved that business. I loved the people that I was working with. And I was I'm an entrepreneur by temperament. I had been in my own retail business for 10 years before getting into this global agency. So after 10 years at the global agency, I said, you know what, I have that entrepreneurial bug. I'm going to open my own. I'm going to focus on these fine wines and spirits. That's a niche that is, I believe, underserved. And 9.5 years later, we're doing well.
Wow. Now, as an entrepreneur, would you share with the listeners some of the key principles that you use day in and day out that have served you well as far as being successful in this business?
Yeah, it's going to sound a little trite maybe, but we're in a client service business, and our clients always come first. We're a business-oriented agency, which means we go after a press hit, but if the press hit doesn't help the client sell more wine, then we're not serving the client. We don't limit ourselves to a strict definition of, we're a PR agency, therefore our role is press. So, if we know sommeliers, we know beverage directors, we know importers, we know distributors, and we make those relationships on behalf of our clients because that's what drives the business. So we're very focused on how our support drives the bottom line. And I think clients appreciate that, which is why we have long-term client relationships, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, which in the PR world is not common.
So certainly results are the key, but also
getting the hit, but also the hit leading to a sale.
That's right. Now, also tell people, as you are in New York City, it's a great place, an exciting city to do business and to enjoy. But tell us, at what point in your business do you say, as you mentioned at the beginning, being bi-coastal, how did you make that decision, and what drove you to open up the location in San Francisco?
Well, two things. One, our European clients and our international clients always look to San Francisco as the second city after New York to do events and promotions and marketing. So by being in San Francisco, we can support our clients better by being on the ground. We do work all over the country. We were just in Houston, as a matter of fact, with a big Spanish wine event called The Great Match. We were just in Austin with a big event for Slow Wine, which is an extension of Slow Food. So we work nationally, but having our own people on the ground in San Francisco allows us to better support our international client base. Secondly, and very importantly, we want more domestic business. We are, we're in the, we're an American agency, and we should have more American clients. Our international clients are subject to funding by whether it's European Union or whether it's, in any market we work in. The funding can fluctuate up and down. Getting California business diversifies our risk and gives us a more stable business base.
And also, Gino, would you tell us, with the remaining moments, what lies ahead for your company for the rest of 2016?
Building the business out in California and continuing to grow the international business with our base here in New York, strengthening our spirits business, we do some food business, and strengthening our food business.
That sounds great. Well, Gino, would you tell people how they can reach you should they want to learn more about your company?
Sure. We are at www.colangelopr.com. That's COLANGELOPR.com. So colangelopr.com. We just launched a new website. We're very proud of it, and we'd love for people to visit.
And actually, yes, I'm looking at the website, and it is very exciting. And it's like, hey, I want to learn more. And you can go to the different areas, the press relations, social media, the trade relations. So you really have it all covered. And we thank you for being on The Price of Business today. Ladies and gentlemen, Gino Colangelo. Thank you, Gino, for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Our pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen.
And let's have a glass of wine someday.
I'm going to be thinking about you when I do tonight. And thank you, sir.
Take care.
You're listening to The Price of Business. We're going to take a short break and come right back with even more. Stay tuned.